So you never know what the Grizzlies are going to do. They always pull something out their ass and just be like, okay,
we're just gonna do something that doesn't make sense at all to the public, but we got a vision.
Lil Red, ego big, little legs, skinny kid with plenty.
Yo, what's up YouTube? It's ZTAY, aka Lil Red, and Patrick Beverley got traded once again. First, he gets traded from the Clippers to the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies once again said they didn't want a point guard that they got. They didn't not only want Eric Bledsoe, they didn't want Patrick Beverley. So all these duos that we think are gonna be good for Dillon Brooks in the Grizzlies just don't agree with us. Beverley goes to the Minnesota Timberwolves, which actually kind of works out for him because I feel like anywhere Beverley goes, he's going to be a fit if he, has a spot in the rotation. Now, what are the Grizzlies doing? That's what we're going to get into in this video. Before we do, though, please hit that subscribe button. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. It helps the channel out tremendously. Thank you. All right, first I want to talk about loyalty in the NBA. And what's the point of it anymore? You see Damian Lillard, probably one of the last players to be loyal to a team, even though they're probably not a contender. Now we're talking about Patrick Beverley, who's more of a role player. Here's a clip from the past of him talking to Scottie Pippen, on ESPN, I think. And he was talking about how he would decline more money from the Sacramento Kings to play for the Clippers and stay in LA. We all see how that turned out for him.
What were your biggest reasons that you decided this is the team that you wanted to stay with, besides the bag?
I got a bigger bag somewhere else.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I decided to, Lou Will was a big factor, I'm going to be honest. It's like a brother to me, him and Trez, and I felt like, my legacy can, I want to reach Gary Payton, that Defensive Player of the Year. I want to get that, and, I thought in order to get that, I had to go with the Clippers, and that was the best role, yeah.
Who offered you more money and how much more money?
3 years, 50 from SAC.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you just were like, I got to stay where I am.
Got to. No disrespect, and I appreciate SAC, of course, but, all good money is good money.
So how do you see the Clippers next season?
You guys notice how Scottie Pippen changed the subject after Pat Beverley brought up money to him? If you guys didn't know, Scottie Pippen kind of just got robbed, most of his playing career on the Bulls. There were plenty of players making more than him on that team that shouldn't have been, so you could tell Scottie was a little bit salty. Now I want to talk about the Grizzlies. They have John Morant, Jaren Jackson, probably the future of that team, even Dillon Brooks, who's been showing out recently. Now, what are the Grizzlies, image for the future? Because they did trade Jonas Valanciunas, which a lot of Grizzlies fans I saw weren't happy about. I know John Morant was close to him, one of his buddies on the team. So I'm like, okay, why did they decide to do this? Now, they get Eric Bledsoe in return and Steven Adams, but it turns out they didn't want Eric Bledsoe. So for some reason, the Grizzlies really see a future with Steven Adams. And Steven Adams, in his own right, is a very underrated player. I feel like he's probably a smarter player than Jonas Valanciunas, but probably not as skilled. But in the offseason, he has been working on his shooting, so that's probably why they decided to go with him. But this isn't about him. This is about Eric Bledsoe. Why did they get rid of Eric Bledsoe? A lot of people, including me, were excited to see Eric Bledsoe and Dillon Brooks be playing together because they both are that big, strong point guard type of build. Gonna play really tough defense, get buckets on offense, tough buckets, inside buckets, and then they decided to get rid of Eric Bledsoe. So I was like, okay, I guess, he's had his inefficiencies in the past. So I agree with that. And they get Rondo and Patrick Beverley in return, which a lot of people were mad about on the Clipper side because, those are two players that are actually pretty underrated. They're solid players. They know how to play their role. And the Grizzlies kind of stole those two players in that trade, right? That's what everybody was saying. But then they decided to trade Patrick Beverley for basically nothing. Now, I say basically nothing, but Culver is actually kind of an underrated player. He's more of a fast break player, I would say. And the Grizzlies are young. They want to push the pace, so I guess it's a good fit. And then they also got Hernangomez, which is, in my opinion, probably just a fill-in for another center spot. I don't know about that one, you know what I mean? It's Patrick Beverley. I feel like people are kind of disrespecting him, but, that being said, Culver is actually a decent player, so I guess they get something in return. But my question is, why don't the Grizzlies want a point guard? Yeah, they got Rajon Rondo, but I also saw buyout talks with Rondo. So I'm like, okay, yes, you have Ja Morant, point guard of the future. You have your starting, point guard. But then as a backup, you got Tyus Jones, a very undersized guard. He's an offensive player. He could score, but you're lacking defense there. So you get Eric Bledsoe, who has size, who could defend. They didn't want him. You get Patrick Beverley, one of probably, if not the best defending point guards in the NBA, and they decide to go away from him. I just don't understand what the Grizzlies' plan is here. Maybe they want to push the pace. Maybe they don't like all the antics that Patrick Beverley pulls out. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Now, I want to talk about Patrick Beverley for a little bit because I feel like he gets a lot of hate in the league, a lot of attention, and it's because of the type of player he is that he gets his attention, but sometimes I feel like it's unnecessary hate. Yes, now you look back, you see him pushing Chris Paul for basically no reason, just throwing a temper tantrum. A lot of people were angry with this, but it's just, Patrick Beverley is the type of player that plays with a lot of emotion when he plays. And nowadays, emotion, is kind of labeled as a bad thing in the NBA, especially with today's NBA and how the refs call the game. You could get a tech for basically just saying "and one."
Sixth man of the year in the NBA. On its way, the soft touch for the big guy.
Boy, nice.
Montrez thought he was fouled again.
Yeah, he probably hollered "and one."
Yeah, he's done it a
but
few.
Come on, I've heard that 100 times this year. No one's got a tee. Come on, guys.
So I don't know. Maybe the Grizzlies don't think his style of play is gonna work in the NBA anymore. I also saw the people talking about how he told Steph Curry the next 5 years are going to be his time. And people are kind of trolling him about that. And, I kind of feel for Patrick Beverley, a player who, back in the day would be very respected. A player who hustles, plays hard, is loyal to a team, declines money to stay with a team. That player back in the day is respected way more than now. So why? Where is the NBA now? You know what I mean? In comparison to the past years. I mean, take a look at Kobe. He stayed with the Lakers for all 20 years of his career. Yes, it's Kobe Bryant, a top 3 player of all time. So I'm not comparing him to Patrick Beverley in no form, but I'm saying that type of player, a player who's going to stay loyal to your team, play as hard as they can, play with emotion, not care about the money. They just care about being loyal to their fans and their city. It's like that doesn't get rewarded anymore. Yes, people say it's a business, but I feel like it's starting to get a little bit colder. But it kind of has to be that way with all these super teams that are being formed nowadays. That's like the new wave. But my question is, why is Patrick Beverley getting bounced around so much? I feel like he's a very extremely valuable player to any team, really. Yes, early on in his career, he was getting bounced around too. Maybe it's just a pattern that he's, manifesting into his career. But think about it. Early in his career, he was getting bounced around because he didn't prove himself. He was inconsistent. His offense was not as good as it is today. And then this last, season that he played in the playoffs, he did his thing. He was shooting well. He was backing up Reggie Jackson, who had an extremely, good playoff run. So it's like, what more could Patrick Beverley have done? What did the Clippers want from him? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing that the Clippers traded him, because that's already over with. They get Eric Bledsoe in return, so I guess that's a good return. But I'm talking about the Memphis Grizzlies. Why do you trade Patrick Beverley? Yes, it probably sounds weird that you're hearing somebody talk all this good stuff about Beverley because you're used to all the trolls and people talking down on Beverley. I don't understand why nowadays people like to see that type of player fail. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Now, I do kind of reason with the Grizzlies with this a little bit because they do have a lot of point guards. They had Rondo coming in. They had Beverley coming in. They already have Tyus Jones, which I think they are very high on. I really think they believe in him because if you think about it last year, I don't know if you guys watched a lot of Grizzlies games, but when Ja Morant went out, he was kind of the leader. He was the scorer for the Grizzlies. So I really think they believe in him. I'm thinking Desmond Bane. They're really believing in him to step up and have a good year. So I feel like they want minutes in rotation for that guy. Maybe, You know, they thought they could get something in return, more size for Patrick Beverley, because they already have the guards that they wanted for the future. Now, the question is, are they going to keep Rajon Rondo? I think yes, but there's always, you know, the people that are speculating. A lot of people saying he's going to come to my Lakers, which I don't think so. Yeah, the Lakers had a big reunion party, but I think Rondo's probably found his place in Memphis. I think is really a really good fit for Ja Morant, but I said the same, you know, with Dillon Brooks and Patrick Beverley. I said the same with Dillon Brooks and Eric Bledsoe. So you never know what the Grizzlies are going to do. They always pull something out their ass and just be like, okay, you know what I mean? We're just going to do something that doesn't make sense at all to the public, but we got a vision. So I don't know what the Grizzlies vision is. Any Grizzlies fans, let me know down below in the comments. Hey, what are you guys doing? Maybe there's something that we don't see. I feel like the Grizzlies are a smaller market team. Obviously, they're based in Tennessee. It's Tennessee. It's not a big city. Yeah, it's a big city, but not for basketball, you know what I mean? But Ja Morant is definitely putting that city, you know, on the map a little bit more. In the playoffs, they made the playoffs and made the first round. They beat out the Warriors and Stephen Curry. So let's see if the Grizzlies can make a jump with this roster that they're assembling. I don't know. That being said, what do you guys think about the Timberwolves acquiring Patrick Beverley? You think this is going to help them? You think it's going to hurt them? You think it does nothing at all and the Timberwolves are still going to be horrible? Which I really don't understand, because I feel like the Timberwolves should not be as bad as they are. I feel like the same goes for the Sacramento Kings, because they have so much talent on their teams, but somehow they just don't win games. We got D'Angelo Russell, you know, we got Anthony Edwards, we got Karl Anthony Towns, we got Malik Beasley, and then you add Patrick Beverley on the bench. I mean, it's not that bad. They did lose Ricky Rubio to the Cleveland Cavaliers, so maybe, you know, that's why they got Patrick Beverley. They needed a backup point guard. Is this the right fit for the Timberwolves? Let me know down below in the comments. You guys know the deal. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, turn on post notifications so you guys get notified every time I post a video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys have a blessed day, blessed morning, blessed evening, blessed night. This is ZTAY. Peace.